Let's begin with education. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has rescheduled the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination for more than 300,000 candidates after a review showed that technical glitches affected scripts from 157 computer-based test centers across Lagos, Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, and Enugu states. News Central's Israel Eferebo went to one of the centers for an on-the-spot look at the retake. In the wake of widespread public concern over technical glitches and poor performance in the recent UTME exams, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board ordered a retake for affected candidates. At the CBT Center visited by News Central, venue for the exams, candidates arrived early and the exam commenced promptly following a seamless verification process. This new effort by JAMB has sparked cautious optimism among students and their parents.
I'm a little bit scared, but hoping that I can do better than the other time. I felt so bad when I saw the score and mostly the thing that is in that examination was very simple. Like we came out, we were like, the questions are so easy.
Some of the students spoke to News Central after writing the exam.
It was nice. I did a lot of questions, like I knew the ones I knew, and I left the rest to God.
Did you experience any form of challenge like the last time?
Not really, but somehow, just a little.
Were you able to submit your answers this time around?
Yes, I submitted.
It was cool, fantastic, nice. It was okay.
So are you expecting a good?
I didn't experience any challenges or nothing at all.
Thank you.
All right.
It was tougher than the last one, but it was still okay. I wasn't able to finish, but just like a few questions left. No, there wasn't any problem. Everything was smooth. You're welcome.
Some parents shared their thoughts on the entire process and the way forward.
She was the person that was checking her phone before she found out that they are going to redo it. So I was excited too, so that she can be able to get what she wants. So I'm hoping that this time around, the Lord will intervene.
I came here, I think I don't have any complaint because when they told us 6:30, immediately we reached at 6:30, they start checking them in, doing their normal process. So I think they are trying. It's not that this that happened just like a question of the way God wanted it.
We write exams online rather than do this CBT going to centers. They can do it in the comfort of their homes with their own laptops. There is a camera that will capture you. If you stand up, then it's cancelled. We can do this seamlessly. It's very simple. We just need to get it right.
While challenges remain, this retake is being seen as a step in the right direction as stakeholders await the outcome with renewed expectations. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Eferebo. In the meantime, parents at the JAMB Examination Center in Ubakala, Umaya South local government area of Abia State are still unsure why the board has ordered the receipts for candidates whose original sittings were problem-free. They say the decision is causing needless emotional strain for candidates who performed well just a few weeks ago and for their families. The parents also urged JAMB to prevent a repeat of the technical glitch that sparked the current confusion.
They are supposed to receipt those people that score low, mainly on that Saturday that they did not have 1 to 11. Not everybody, not causing trauma to the whole state. I want them to be very, very careful in everything they are doing. If the thing is inside the computer, I thought that the thing will not be computer problem. It's man-made problem.
No, my son did not tell me that the glitch affected him. I was surprised when I saw the message. Especially the writing wire also. It was the clash and the distance is too much. It affected them, even us parents. It affected us, extra expenses. As I have been here since 6 a.m.
I was even there with her the day she wrote the JAMB, so there was no problem, there was no issue. This is the first time in history that JAMB is having a receipt in all the centers in the southeast, like from what I heard. And this is Nigeria, so anything can happen.
We are joined by an education researcher, Peter Ogudoro.
Thank you so much, Peter, for joining us on the news.
It's my pleasure.
So let's start this way. What do you make of the whole saga about the UTME exam, the results, the aftermaths, and the rescheduling and the reseating of the exam?
Well, it's a reflection of where we are in terms of technological development. We haven't, as a country, recognized that the world is not standing still and waiting for us to move at our pace. We are not yet globally competitive in this area. We don't own the computers we use, we don't make them. And we haven't made adequate effort to also produce the manpower that can enable us to use what other people have produced. And so that's where we got to where we are. Unfortunately, parents who are affected along with their children in this matter don't seem to understand exactly what the challenges are. I have heard some parents in this news, say their children didn't have any problem in the last test. It's not about the challenges the children had in the CBT centers that is the reason why they are retaking the test. They are retaking the test because a service provider to JAMB did not upload the results in the way that that job was supposed to be done. So it wasn't a matter of the CBT centers didn't provide the space for the children to write the test. They wrote the test in many places seamlessly, but unfortunately, those who had the responsibility to upload the results to the server for the children to get credit for their efforts failed to do their job. So we're hoping that now that they have fewer people to grapple with, definitely, and given the opera, definitely everybody who has a role to play will be on guard and alert, making sure that they do the right things at the right time.
Okay, so you are talking about lack of manpower and also lack in technological development, but then some people say that JAMB had a year to prepare for the exam, and so the excuse of a system glitch is untenable. And I'm just asking, is that an act of gross negligence of duty on the part of the examination body? And maybe they should be penalized to prevent a recurrence.
Definitely, the problem we have experienced was avoidable. I agree with you. We should, however, know that JAMB is an organization that is operating within a larger system. So the problems of Nigeria definitely will have to affect JAMB. There's no way you live in Nigeria and Nigeria will not happen on you. So what happened here was that Nigeria happened on JAMB. The service provider who had the responsibility to upload the server, who is basically a contractor hired to be able to provide this service, couldn't deliver in the way that JAMB wanted it. And JAMB cannot take, total blame for what has happened. But the area where we blame probably them is the area where we expected them to have monitored adequately. And probably in the future, they should think about the possibility of making the people who have responsibility for uploading the result, because that's a critical stage in the examination process, to be internal members of the organization, not outsiders. The outsider is the person who has created this problem. If those people were employees of the organization who are paid globally competitive salaries, and then made to understand how critical this assignment is, other things will not be where we are. So that's by way of recommendation. I think that we should start thinking along the lines of JAMB making a deliberate effort to hire the right type of people and pay them competitive salaries. I suspect that one of the reasons why they have not been able to get the right people into their system as employees is the fact that they are paying public service salary. And it's IT. The best brains in IT are people who can work anywhere in the world. And if you have to work in America and you can earn $200,000 in a year, why do you want to organization in Nigeria where they offer you maybe 200,000 naira in a month when you can earn $200,000 in a year in America, in Germany, in other parts of the world? With the same skills, you don't have to do anything else. So that's probably where the challenge is coming from. Let them work on that technology and probably consider the possibility of running CBT centers in pari passu with pen and paper exams, because it does look like insisting that they have to examine 2 million children within a very short period using computers. And these are children, most of whom we are not trained with computers, and they have to grapple with this. And JAMB doesn't also own most of the CBT centers. And so they are working with a system they do not have absolute control over. So it's going to be difficult for them to continue to operate at this level. And nobody should start thinking that this can, be applied to WAEC and NECO WASC and hope that we're going to get it right. It's going to be a very tough job for every one of us.
So JAM is having an issue with pre-planning, planning, execution, and outcome, invariably all the stages. Now, do you think that even the UTME should be scrapped then, and tertiary institutions should instead be mandated to conduct internal exams for their candidates or probable candidates?
No, when you go that way, you create a bigger problem because JAM is a child of necessity. JAM came into existence to solve the problem of multiple admissions. So we have not always had JAM. There was a time when universities had their own mechanisms for selecting, for recruiting students into their universities and for the courses they're on. But we discovered that a good number of candidates who are very smart will hold like 10 admissions, to different universities across the country, whereas several others would not even have one admission. To resolve that, a clearinghouse had to be established. So JAM is a clearinghouse that prevents multiple admissions, so everybody gets only one admission and leaving the rest of the spaces available for the rest of the candidates who are aspiring to go to university, to also get a shot at it. So the way forward is not to scrap JAM, is to make JAM deliver, is to give JAM the right kind of money, fund them adequately, and make sure that they have the right technology, make sure that they also employ the right type of people who are paid competitive salaries. I'm underscoring that. The job that JAM is doing is very sensitive and it requires high-level manpower that the current salaries, the current compensation package in the public service cannot make them loyal. So you need to treat JAM as a special organization, especially people who handle the test and measurement aspect of what they're doing, and those who handle the IT aspect of what they're doing. Those people should not be paid public service salary. They should be treated as if they are working for Microsoft and working for Facebook. And that way, you're able to get the right kind of people and keep them, in the system, loyal and delivering on the promise that JAM, has given to all of us.
Okay, so let me just quickly chip this in. I mean, as an education researcher, are you satisfied with the level of education, with the standard of education in Nigeria?
Well, if you do my kind of job, you'll be able to make a distinction between standard and quality. What most of the time I hear is that standard is low. Standard here is not as low as people have assumed. What is low is quality. Standard is an aspiration where we should be. So in many senses, Nigeria is making some progress in terms of upgrading the standard across all levels of education. Where we are failing is in ensuring that we meet that standard. So quality is low, but standard is definitely improving. And the reason why we are not delivering with respect to quality is the fact that the teachers who are supposed to run the classrooms that will give children the right type of education are people who have not been given the right type of training. So they are not globally competitive. They don't know how to run effective classrooms that will make children look forward to going to school, classrooms that are engaging, classrooms that are not just run for people to cram things and return those things to you, classrooms that will make children understand, concepts that they can, use to compete at the global stage. That's where the challenge is. And then we haven't also been able to build and run properly laboratories that will get us compete in the science subjects, which is where the world is now. So if we want to become globally competitive and give you the right quality, we must ensure that we have the laboratories, we have the teachers who earn competitive salaries. Teachers in Nigeria are the dregs of society, and that's very unfortunate for us. They are not paid well, and that is what is making the best brains not aspire to go to university to study education. And until we are able to make it an honorable profession, a profession that pays good salary, a profession that is respected, a profession that is appreciated by government, a profession where teachers, are treated like proper human beings in society. Until we get to that stage, we will continue to grapple with quality issues.
It's quite interesting that at this particular stage in the 21st century, we're still discussing the shortfalls in Nigeria's education system. Just, calls to question what the focus of the government is. But then, thank you so much, Peter Ogudoro, for sharing your thoughts with us.
It's my pleasure.
Let's go on a very short break. When we return, we'll bring you more stories. Don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's now head to Rivers State, where an explosion rocked a gas refilling plant in Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State, where many were reportedly injured while several parked vehicles got burnt. Now, this comes 4 months after a similar explosion occurred in same local government area, leaving not less than 10 persons dead and many currently suffering several degrees of burnt scars. Now, our correspondent, Biola Festus, is now at the scene of the explosion for an update, and she joins us live. Hello, Biola. Thank you so much for sticking around to give us the details. Let's understand what the situation is in that particular area.
Thank you, Dapper. So, this is a gas plant owned by the wedding station. Now, the explosion of all that yesterday, while the explosion of all, there were many cars parked here. By my side here is a restaurant close by. So I gathered that the people who are on here, and they had their cars parked here. By the time, before they came out of the restaurant where they were eating, their cars were already closed. And some people tried to jump over the fence just to escape for their life. Earlier, I spoke to an elderly man who could not join me right away. He had a broken wrist. He told me that in the process of running for his life, he went over a fence and then he broke his wrist. That's what happened here. Now, this place is it's a densely populated area. And then just a few steps away is the popular apartment. So you can imagine how densely populated this is. The restaurant by my side also was greatly impacted because you could see some their signposts for their kitchen is also burned. But I have by me somebody who owns a shop nearby that was here yesterday, and I would like him to also share his experience with us. You were here yesterday, like you told me earlier.
Yes, sir.
Bring us up to speak about what really happened and how it happened.
Okay. It was about 10:30 a.m. yesterday when I was in my office here. We are selling ties, so we are loading ties and offloading. So we had an explosion. So when we had an explosion, everybody fell on the floor. So when we stood up, we wanted to know where the explosion was coming from. On turning, we now saw flames of fire chasing us. So everybody started running. The fire was still chasing us. We now have to jump the fence. So a lot of people had a lot of injuries. There was a lot of injuries. People broke their wrists and arms. Even the truck guy that we are loading yesterday, he broke his leg. He's on his way going to Nasarawana for treatment. So it was a hell of this thing yesterday. A lot of cars was burned. Right beside me is a Salvation Ministries church. Their glasses was brought down. Their perforated PVC was brought down. In my office, my glasses was broken. The restaurant close by was shattered. It was really a horrific incident yesterday.
Okay, let me ask you this. Having the Orazi incident in mind, how do you feel when you come to work and you see a gas plant just by the shop?
For me, I don't think it's right. It's a right to place a gas plant, especially where people are living. You understand? So I don't know the reason why government will allow people to be building a gas plant in where people are living. So I will advise that if there is a way the government will make it possible, that every fuel station will not have any gas plant, or even a fuel station close to where people are living. I think it will be a right thing to be done. And I don't like the issue that always occurs because of all these gas plants that are being planted all over Port Harcourt. When you go all over Port Harcourt, you see a lot of gas plants planted close to people's living houses. I don't think that is a right thing to do. So I will advise the government, to all those people that are giving them the license to do that kind of thing. I think they should stop that kind of authorization.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us to share your experiences. We hope that your staff who was injured gets quick recovery.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Let me bring you up to speak about the Orazi incident. Now, we had the gas explosion. The case of Orazi wanted.
Well, Biola, we might not just be able to continue with the updates that you were giving to us, but then we appreciate that. We hope that we'll be able to get more details from you later on in our subsequent bulletins. But then, thank you so much for sharing the details with us. Now, in a related development, one person has been confirmed dead and 6 others injured after a gas cylinder explosion at the plumbing market on Uga Street, close to the Onitsha Bridge Head Market in Anambra State. The blast occurred while a welder was cutting metal with carbide. The intense heat ignited the cylinder. Officers from the Onitsha Bridge Head Division and passers-by joined the rescue effort. The wounded are being treated in hospital while the victim's body has been taken to the mortuary. Police have cordoned off the area to deter opportunistic crime. Away from that, political commentators have increasingly linked the growing inefficiency and complacency within Nigeria's legislative system to the lack of constitutional term limits for members of parliament. They argue that this legislative loophole has enabled some lawmakers to maintain their positions for decades, fostering a culture of entitlement and political stagnation. This situation, they say, undermines democratic values, limits diversity of thought, and hampers introduction of new ideas that could drive meaningful policy reforms. Professor Kamilu Sani Fage, a political science expert at Bayero University in Kano, noted that while long-term service in the legislature can offer experience and mastery of parliamentary procedures, it also presents serious risks to good governance. To help us make sense of this, we're joined by a legal practitioner, Tunji Abdulhamid. Tunji, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
So do you support the motion? Yes, nice to have you around. Do you support the motion that Nigeria's legislative system should have constitutional limits?
I don't see. I don't support that. It's not an issue for me because it's not the fact that people are long enough in that house that is making them behave the way they are behaving. It's because we don't have a system that works. In fact, if you have an electoral system that works and is free and fair, some of them will not go back. It's not because they are there for long. Even if you make law, these people will still find their way around the corridor of power and they will still occupy a different position. If you look at it, in the past, since 1999, majority of people at the National Assembly, some of them are no longer there. Only few remain that have been there for long, maybe 5 or 3 or so of them. Did you see anything different from what people are just coming in and behaving as if they are also part of those who have been there before? So it's not about the fact that they are long in that National Assembly. That's why they are misbehaving. They are misbehaving because they know they cannot be checked by their constituents. They were not put in place by their constituents. They don't have respect for their constituents. In other words, they are not representing the people that they claim they are representing. They are representing themselves and their political party and their godfathers. That is it. Until we have a free and fair election, until we have a system whereby election will be free and be fair, and the internal affair of the party will not block anybody from becoming a candidate, then they will do well. We have the executive where they go in 4 years. Do they do better? No, they didn't. Some of them are even aiming to go to Senate thereafter. Yet they don't perform well. So that's not to say that when they stay long in that National Assembly, they become a landlord, and sometimes it becomes difficult for them to be uprooted. But I'm saying that the fact that they are long there or they stay long at the National Assembly is not the reason why they are misbehaving. They are misbehaving because they don't have a system that works.
But then if the issue is not with longevity and they stay in power or in that position because they actually perform well, what opportunity would be available for probably other young minds rather, who should also have the opportunity to get to that position?
Yeah, you see, like I said, we make it look as if there was no primary, there was no election. They just put themselves and become candidates and elected. You see, the point, like I've said it, the internal affairs of the party is not creating enough chances. That's the area we should be looking at. Who become our candidates? How do they win their election? How do they represent their party? How did they win the major election? Those are the areas. And that's why I say if there's a free and fair election, get it. So if we have free and fair election, more youth will participate and they win. Then what we have today is imposition. The primaries are not people's choice. They are just imposed by leaders. You can see, you hear them say, I made him governor, I made him House of Assembly member, I made him this and that. It shows it's not about the people, it's about imposition. So as long as we have that people who can control the system, who determine who becomes who, and it's not about the people, you continue to see the same people at the end of the affair. So if you all these people you say they've been long at the National Assembly, let them trespass, or let those the power that be see them as an obstacle. You will see that they will not come back. So the system is not working well. That's why we're having what we're having. So it's not about the fact that they are long in the system, and they will still be misbehaved whether they are long or not. People who are just there for 1 or 2 years, are they not misbehaving? Are they not behaving as if they were not outside before now? They were not complaining and they were not talking or criticizing those who are there before now. They were also doing the same thing the way they are doing. Those who criticize members of the National Assembly buying cars worth millions of naira are also buying the same car now. They are collecting it. They are also collecting constituency allowances that they claim was wrong. So it's not about whether they are long or not. Youth must participate, and the system must be free and fair, create an enabling environment for everybody to participate, and be confident that, look, if we participate and it's free and fair, I'll win. People will win election. That's just it. Some of them are not winning because they are good, because they are being imposed or they have that influence on the system, and that's why they are going there. So that's all we should check, not other than make law and say that would be against the fundamental right.
Let's look at it from another. Let's look at it from another angle. If you are advocating that it should not be tenure based, and of course we might agree that the system that brings these people into power is flawed. Is it possible then that we have a system whereby these legislative opportunities or posts are made unattractive, and that the financial benefits attached to these offices are drastically reduced? Maybe this can make the right people to attempt to step into these political spaces.
Yeah, if it's not too attractive the way it is today, and it's not too, they're not too powerful, it may some people may not be concerned about going there. But the way it is today, and that's why when people talk about this our democracy is too expensive, I say no, it's not the democracy that's expensive. It's the people that are operating it that are making it look like that. If there is nowhere in our constitution or any law that says a member of the National Assembly must collect millions of naira as monthly allowance or weekly allowances. It is them that fix it for themselves. The executive is not. There is no law in the law that says the president must buy private jets at the expense of the people. There is no law that says the president must use an Escalade or use any particular car or appoint thousands of SAs or PA or whatever. It is not the democracy that it is us. So the way, as long as we continue to operate the system the way it is and make it look attractive the way it is, people will continue to fight for it, and then it becomes those who have the power more will be able to grab it and take it around and with it.
Okay, so finally, we're talking about a politically flawed system. We're talking about lawmakers that perpetrate themselves in office and underperform without being checked. What if we look at it from the area of the recall process that is equally tedious? Is that a part you would advocate that should be tinkered with too?
The procedure to recall as it is now constitution today is very, in fact, it will be very easy for needle to enter the eyes of the camel than for you to recall any member of the National Assembly. If you have a system that works, that recall will not be difficult. But we don't have a system that works. If you see any recall that is being instigated, it's because one godfather or so has interest in it. If there's no godfather with interest in it, you won't see any recall. Like I said, I will still repeat myself at the expense of being saying the same thing. The system has made it look like individuals that rather than the institution are now in charge, and they determine who become what. And that's why you see those in 1999 to those who are against the agenda of the president then, they were not able to come back to the National Assembly. Those who oppose the third-term agenda were not able to return back because they have offended the. So what I'm saying is that it is not about the these people is about the system not working. And as long as it's not working, if you look at the election properly, most of these people did not win the election. Some of them did not even win primary. You can give an example of the president of the state today. He didn't participate. And it was clear. The former Senate president, Ahmed Lawal, he didn't participate. He came back and he grabbed it. And it was given to him. And the court even confirmed it. So these are the way and manner some of them got into the office. It's not about as if they were too good or whatever, but because the system does not allow, it's not vested, the power is not on paper, the power is on the people. But in practice, certain individuals are the one that has the power. They have the power on their hand and they use it the way they like. Today you will see that somebody will come and start claiming, I made him a governor, I made him this and that, because it's not about the people.
All right, a lot of fundamental issues that need to be dealt with in Nigeria's electoral system. But then thank you so much, Atunji Abdulhamid, for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Of course. Let's go on a break and return. When we do that, we'll tell you about insurgency in Nigeria. Don't go away. Suspected fighters of the Islamic State West Africa province have reportedly killed at least 23 farmers and fishermen in the Malam Karanti, a remote village near Baga in Kukawa local government area of Borno State. The attack took place on Thursday morning. The victims, mostly beans farmers from Goza, had allegedly reached an agreement with a rival Boko Haram faction to farm and fish in insurgents-controlled areas in exchange for regular payment of levies. According to local reports, the ISWAP militants stormed the village around 9 a.m., gathered the farmers and fishermen, and executed them on suspicion of collaborating with the rival group. Now, the anti-Daba arm of the Kano State Police Command says that it has arrested 25 suspected thugs, popularly called Yandaba, 6 suspected drug dealers, and recovered dangerous weapons from the suspects. The spokesman of the police, Haruna Kiyawa, while making this known to newsmen in Kano State, says that the arrests were made between May 10 and 14, 2025, during operations of the State Joint Task Force Committee on Security Restoration and Youth Rehabilitation.
In an operation conducted within the metropolis along Dorayi, Jain, Kabuga, Kofar Mata, Unguwar Dabai, and neighboring areas, a lot of successes have been recorded. And part of the successes include the arrest of a total number of 31 suspects, comprising of 25 suspected thugs, Endaba, and 6 suspected drug dealers. The 25 suspected thugs have been charged to Magistrate Court number 16, Zangero Road, Kano, and currently have been remanded awaiting sentencing. Whereas the 6 suspected drug dealers arrested have been handed over to the NDLEA for further investigation and prosecution. We have to, of course, appreciate the fact that with this type of operations, with the notorious thug identified and arrested, we say the issue of Daba in Orei and neighboring areas is coming to an end, because all the arrowheads of this Daba in those areas have been identified, arrested, and all the names will be given to you.
In a significant step towards a sustainable future, Nigeria's financial sector has convened to deliberate on its pivotal role in steering the nation towards a green economy. The Executive Roundtable in Lagos brought together key stakeholders to discuss strategies, challenges, and commitments essential for this transition. We now bring you details in this report.
The roundtable session held in Lagos served as a platform for financial institutions to explore avenues for increasing access to climate finance and advancing green finance initiatives. Experts emphasized the urgency of integrating environmental considerations into financial decision-making processes to mitigate the impact of climate change and promote sustainable development.
The Green Climate Fund is in its mission to Nigeria to help Nigeria to start thinking towards having a Nigeria country-specific projects.
Noting the critical role of financial institutions in supporting green projects, discussions around financial gaps, policy barriers and more were on the front burner.
In areas of adaptation, to the climate change, areas of mitigation of the effects of climate change, we're all providing access to finance to be able to do that. So while in Nigeria, we might, the awareness of that is strong, but it's really happening. And then we need to begin to take action in that light.
It's not just having the certification or the accreditation, let me put it that way. We also need to be able to mainstream what we have gotten into our national life. So we need to get more programs. We need to bring in a lot of programs that will help us get the climate adaptation that we want.
In a unified gesture, representatives from participating financial institutions signed a commitment agreement affirming their dedication to the principles and strategies discussed during the session.
The importance really of having the private sector here is knowing that the public sector cannot do it alone. International funding can also not do it alone. We have the big climate funds. Yes, they come in with concessional capital, but we also need our local domestic capital to do the great work that we need to do on combating climate change and accelerating economic development.
As Nigeria continues to navigate the challenges posed by climate change, the outcomes of this meeting are expected to contribute significantly to the country's ongoing effort to promote green economy, aligning with global sustainability goals. In Lagos, for News Central, Igbalani Omoni.
The news continues in West Africa. During an official visit to Ouagadougou, Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko pledged his country's support for Burkina Faso in its ongoing fight against terrorism. Standing alongside Burkinabe officials, Sonko spoke of the possibility of collaboration and support, signaling a potential strengthening of ties between the two West African nations. Burkina Faso has grappled with a brutal insurgency for more than a decade, resulting in thousands of deaths and the displacement of millions. In Central Africa, armed fighters from the M23 group, which has taken control of eastern DR Congo's key major town of Goma, on Saturday set about expelling thousands of people they say are illegals from Rwanda. On Monday, the group's military spokesman, William Goma, had presented to the media 181 men whom they referred to as Rwandan subjects illegal in the country at Goma's main sports stadium. Several hundreds of women and children, relatives of those detained, joined them at the stadium aboard trucks chartered by the M23 rebel. Now, Opeyemi Bright has been inaugurated as the youngest mayor in the United Kingdom, marking a historic milestone for Nigerians in the diaspora and youth leadership. At 29, she now holds the esteemed position of first citizen of the London Borough of Barking and Dagenham. After her inauguration on May 16, 2025, Bright, born in the UK to Nigerian parents, described her election as an act of divine grace and pledged to serve with humility and excellence. She began her political journey at the age of 22, championing youth empowerment and social inclusion over the past 7 years. Her ascension highlights the growing political influence of Nigerians abroad, alongside figures like Kemi Badenoch and Chiomura. Bright's achievement is celebrated as a symbol of resilience and a call for deeper youth and diaspora engagement in national development. In sports, Christina Ochonogo of Tarleton State dominated the women's long jump final at the WAC Outdoor Championships in Texas, securing victory with a season's best jump of 6.67 meters. She stunned the field by opening the competition with back-to-back jumps at 6.67 meters, putting the competition out of reach early. Ochonogo's performance beat Adeyemi Talabi, who finished second with a best leap of 6.17 meters, while Ajia Hughes claimed third place with 6.10 meters. Ochonogo's impressive consistency and distance gave her a commanding lead of half a meter over her nearest rival, highlighting her as a standout athlete at the championships. The The win marks a significant milestone in her season's progress at the WAC meet. Let's also tell you that Atalanta star Ademola Lookman has been nominated for Syria Player of the Month for May. Lookman was nominated alongside 5 other players for the individual accolade: Riccardo Orsolini from Bologna, Kefren Turam for Juventus, Scott McTominay from Napoli, Manu Kone from AS Roma, and Santiago Jimenez from AC Milan are also in contention for the award. Lookman scored 1 goal for Atalanta this month. The 27-year-old ended his 6-game goal drought by netting in Ladia's 2-1 win over AS Roma on Monday. He has 20 goal contributions in 30 league appearances this season. Now, approximately 670,000 fans gathered in Barcelona to celebrate the club's recent titles. The festivities included a victory parade through the city streets, culminating at the Arc de Triomphe. The open-top bus procession featured both men's and women's teams, who showcased their trophies and interacted with supporters. The parade route began at the Camp Nou and passed through several key locations. The event was marked by an outpouring of support from fans, with displays of confetti, fireworks and music enhancing the celebratory atmosphere.
Es un grupo de chavales muy jóvenes que sienten los colores del Barça y es una liga muy merecida.
Bueno, esto es súper emocionante, es increíble el ambientazo que hay y que la gente sienta tanto los colores.
No, nada, que estoy muy feliz. A mis casi 40 años otra liga del Barça. Ya son 19 que he vivido.
Es una pasada porque al final siempre los estás viendo desde la tele y verlos en persona es un sueño, prácticamente.
We also tell you that Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti spoke to the media ahead of Real Madrid's penultimate game of the season against Sevilla on Sunday. He was asked about the club's latest signing, Dean Huijsen, to which he said, and I quote, "Huijsen is a great young player with a lot of potential." The Bournemouth defender Dean Huijsen completed a £50 million move to Real Madrid. Real have agreed a deal for Huijsen to leave his Bournemouth contract early at the end of the Premier League season to play at the Club World Cup after moving quickly amid widespread interest in the player. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, we'll look at our top stories again. Candidates in Lagos and Southeast states have retaken 2025 UTME amid hopes of improvements. Suspected fighters of terrorist group ISWAP have killed 23 farmers, fishermen in Borno State. We also told you that 29-year-old Nigerian British Okpeyemi Bright has become the youngest mayor in the UK. Don't forget to send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And while you do that, follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can equally watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avro TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Omabanjo.